Okay, welcome back to the channel, and today we will be learning about regulations regarding these drones. So stay tuned, and today we will be discussing more about how to operate your drone safely by adhering to the rules and regulations. Okay, let's start with the simple question as to revise for your exam as well. So the two questions that I will be looking at will be how to I will be speaking about selling your UAV and regarding category 4 operations. So these are just random questions. So we will be talking about them in detail and when detail if necessary. But for your general knowledge as preparation for your exam, let's talk about these two questions first. Then we will be moving towards the regulation. So suppose that you have a drone and you decided to sell this drone later, like you sold the drone, right? So when you do that, so say that your drone was registered and now you have sold your drone on eBay or some online platform. So you have to like make sure that you have 14 days. How many days do you have? You have 14 days. 14 days to update your registration, to update your registration with the FAA drones on website, right? So if you sell, transfer or destroy or something like that, destroy your drone, or even like you exported the drone to some other country, then you have to like update your registration information with FAA within 14 days. So this might be a question on your exam. So make sure to remember that. And next we will be talking about the category for operations, right? So for operations without notifying the participants, let's say like you are hired to do some mission, right? And unfortunately you were not able to like make the people aware that you are conducting a mission. So you did not notify the non-participants, like so if non-participants are there, those human beings must be either under a covered structure, right? So they must be under a covered structure or inside the vehicle. Okay? Make sure that they are inside a vehicle or under a covered structure. This is really important for category for operations. These are two random questions I wanted to share. So yeah, make sure to remember these two facts, right? So one is that if you sell your drone within, you have to notify the FAA regarding notify means like you have to update your information or the registration for the drone within 14 days after you sell, destroy or something like that. Okay. And also let's talk about an address change. So suppose that you have you change your address, right? You change the address change address an address change should be notified uh, to the FAA within 30 days. So for an address change you have 30 days to make the necessary updates to the FAA. So next, let's talk about CFR. So what do we mean by CFR? CFR is the US. All the US regulations are recorded in the Code of Federal Regulation, called the CFR. Code of Federal Regulation CFR. CFR is divided into titles. Okay, divided into titles. So we have title 14, which is very important to us. So this is where we talk about the drones and the other stuff. And also we have other titles like 49. 49 is for transport. This 14 is the important one of the main things for us. This is for Federal Aviation Regulation. Okay, now that you understood these two things, like majorly we are concerned about 14, which is for Federal Aviation Regulation, and 49 for transportation, right? So under CFR we have these two titles, right? Under these two titles we have other subdivisions as well. So first we will be going over the subdivisions for the title 14. So now let's talk about under title 14 we have part 107, right? Part 107, as you know, is concerned about what you call small unmanned aircraft systems, UAS, right? So we know about that this is really important for us. Part 48 it deals with the registration, so that is also important registration. And also part 89 is regarding remote identification. So remote, let me write it as remote ID. So these are the things. Remote identification for again is UAS, small unmanned aircraft systems, right? So these are the things that are important for us. And also we have the part title 49, that is something different, but that's also important for us. Under part 107 we can further classify it to subparts. So under 107 we can like categorize them as let's say general. We have general, and we have operating rules. We have general, and we have operating rules. And what else do we have? We have the remote pilot certificate. We have operations over humans, and we have waivers. So these things are really important for us, right? So we part 107 as subsections, so subparts, as I have shown here. So the next thing that we need to know is something called the calendar month. So FAA regulations use this notation, right? So they might call something as the calendar month. So means the expiration will occur on the last day of the month. So if this is June, and as this, if they say it's a calendar month or something like that, that means that that particular thing is valid until the last day of June, right? So it can be 30th. Okay, so it's valid till the last day of the month. So remember that if they say something in terms of calendar months, then that means that it is valid until the last day, not the first day, right? So you have to remember that. So anyway, let's move to the general section under part 1. So this thing means that this is applicable to registration, airman certification, and operation of civil. Okay, remember this word. This is important. Civil, right? Civil small UAS, right? Unmanned aircraft system. So this is like this subsection or part 107 is like applicable to civil small unmanned aircraft systems, not for other categories. Okay, so these are not applicable for like air carry operations, not applicable to aircraft subject to like some other titles like under the 49 or UCS 44809. So what is 44809? So this means that part 107, okay, part 107 is not applicable for recreational purposes. So this section directly refers to recreational use. So remember that part 107 is not applicable to recreational use. So always part 107 is for commercial operations. So your intention is not for fun, right? So you do something uh, as a commercial operation or a mission. So the thing that is going to cover the recreational use is under this section 44809. So let's now talk about when we actually need part 107. When do we need this? We need it almost all the time. Do we need? Oh, we need this all the time unless we are doing something for fun, right? So means that our intention should be for something else other than fun. Then we need part 107. Intent of the flight is what matters. It is not. It doesn't mean that we always exchange money, right? Intention matters. Exchange money, it can or cannot occur. That doesn't matter. So exchange of money is not a factor to be considered when we talk about Part 107. So suppose that you have a drone and you fly this drone to take some photographs for your friend who is going to use it for some purpose. Then that means that it is not recreational. Recreational means just for fun. You fly a drone for your own enjoyment. But uh, if you fly for some reason other than for fun, then you need Part 107 and you need to have the certificate. So one important question is like, can you be paid for a recreational flight? Okay. Yes, you can be paid, but the original intent. Okay, this is really important. So the original intent should not be for a commercial use. So the original intent is for recreational purpose. So if that means, like, let's take an example. Let's say you decided to fly for fun and you were like uh, taking some photographs for your family, and you were having a nice moment, and all of a sudden, let's say, you recorded an incident such as like like a building being destroyed or something. Maybe some media channel might require those footage and they decided to pay you. That's of course okay. That is not because your original intent was to have some photographs for your family. So you were like originally having the intention to have fun. So that means that uh, you can be paid because your original intent was already established properly. And also remember that Part 107 is applicable to any small unmanned aircraft system which is less than 55 pounds. Okay, so anything less than 55 pounds is covered under Part 107. And under Part 107, you are strictly prohibited to like produce reproduction of your identification certificate or make alterations. Those are strictly prohibited, and like you may have to face consequence if you decide to like reproduce these materials, provide false information, or like you do some kind of an edit to your certificate. So these might lead to possible civil penalty. So falsification, reproduction, and alternation prohibited, not allowed, and you might have to face consequences. So say that you are flying and someone decided to like authorized personnel might come to you and they might ask for some details. So in this case, let's say the police comes to you or a regulatory body might come and they might have questions. So in that case, you must possess the remote pilot certificate and source of ID and and any document that is required to be kept under Part 107 regulations, such as the documents that you got from a renewal written exam or the registration card or whatever that is required to like keep your uh, certificate valid. So you have to make sure that you always have those details with you, right? All the identification and the updated renewal documents with you. Make sure that these documents are made available to the FAA authorized representative of the uh, NTSB, which represents the National Transport Safety Board. So if they ask for these things, you must be in a position to hand the relevant information and identification documents to them. Any federal, state, or local law enforcement or authorized representative of the TSA represents the Transportation Security Administration. So if these people come to you and ask for certain things from you, you must provide them with the respective information. And also you have to allow FAA, right? FAA, if they ask for a physical inspection of your drone, you must be able to uh, allow them to do that inspection, right? They might like weigh your drone, see whether you are complying with all the things like your drone is having the registration label on its surface, and they might check whether your drone is following the necessary rules and regulation. And also like the person manipulating the flight controls or the visual observer might also have to cooperate with the FAA and the officially authorized personnel. Okay, now let's talk about accident reporting. So this is where we discuss regarding the rules and regulations. So for reporting accidents, you have 10 days, right? So you have to report any accident within 10 days. What kind of accidents do we report to the FAA? Those are the serious ones, right? So if some person got unconscious or admitted to the hospital, then you have to report them. And also if you cause damage to property that will have a cost of repair that exceeds $500, then then you will have to report that to the FAA. But this $500 does not include the cost of your drone. Let's say that during the accident, you destroyed your drone, then and your drone costs $1,500. That is not no, this is not included. So it is some kind of a damage that is done to someone else, like someone else property. So now let's revise some things that we need to know. So let's say that recently you renewed the certificate by taking some recurrent training, right? Which documents should you now you recently you had some recurrent training that may be something that you did online with the FAA. So now say that you are being inspected, and what documents should you provide to that person? Let's you have to provide the remote pilot certificate, right? uh, you have to provide the registration card and also a copy of the completion of the certificate for the recurrent training, right? Recurrent training completion certificate or something like that you have to provide. And also you have to you must provide your ID, right? So you have to provide these things upon inspection. And also one more important thing is under part 107, as we discussed under part 107, it totally you have to be compliant with part for to be covered under part 107. It deals with civil, right? Remember the word civil. Small unmanned aircraft systems. Okay, part 107 deals with the civil small unmanned aircraft system. So let's talk about who can fly, right? So under part 107, we have the persons who can fly is the remote pilot in command, or PIC can fly the drone, or else someone who is under the direct supervision. Someone under the direct supervision of RPIC who has the certificate can allow someone to fly, and RPIC should be able to take control of the aircraft, right? So he must be in a position to take the controls to his hand. So this taking over can be done in many ways, can be he can be standing next to you, so that he can get the controller from you directly and control the situation. Or else your transmitter or your equipment might be able to have some kind of a link between the two, so that your flight controller can be overridden by the controller that is in the hands of the RPIC. So this is known as the buddy box. So, and also sometimes there may be automated systems that allows the RPIC to trigger some kind of a safety. So RPIC might be able to trigger a safety maneuver, like a hold altitude or hold position, or return to home or something like that. So these are the places where uh, RPIC who has a certificate can allow someone to control the drone. So now let's talk about the registration. So any drone that is less than 55 uh, pounds should be registered, and the registration sticker, right? That specific number should be easily be readable and should be placed outside the aircraft so that it can be seen, and also can only operate civil small unmanned aircraft system unless it is in a specific condition, uh, and also it should be in a specific condition for safe operation, right? If your drone is not able to like operate safely, then you cannot continue to fly or you cannot take off, right? And also during flight, let's say your drone experiences some kind of a failure, then you have to take the precaution and take the necessary action, because you no longer can continue to fly in this condition. So you must make sure that you stop the mission and make sure that everyone is safe, maybe take the drone down as soon as possible. So now let's talk about medical conditions. So if you are feeling unwell or you have some kind of a problem, like it can be like a mental problem or some kind of a stress or something like that, then you should avoid flying, right? So if you have a physical or mental condition that affects the safe operation of the aircraft or the small unmanned aircraft system, then you have to stop. These also include like blurred vision, if you're having some kind of a blurred vision, and if you're not in a good mood, so it is always good to avoid flying in these conditions. And also say that you have some kind of an illness, or you are under the influence of some medication that allows that makes you less that reduce your situational awareness, then you must comply with the rules and stop operating the drone. So this can be a headache or some kind of a body pain or some thing that makes you less able to properly operate the aircraft. And also sometimes please check these things once again. like uh, let's say that there's some person who is not able to communicate or might have some kind of a hearing or speaking impairment. Alternative means can be allowed. So let's say that this person can is able to communicate through other means like sign language or something like that, then that is allowed. So hearing impaired or speaking impaired person might be able to use other means of effective communication. So always remember that RPIC and any other crew member must be able to make effective communication. So that is very important. So now let's talk about the responsibility and transferring controls. So RPIC is always responsible for the entire mission and must be designated, right? So this person must be designated before the mission, right? So who's the RPIC, that must be clearly defined for the mission, and he holds the final authority to take the decisions during the mission. And also he or she must ensure that the mission is operated under safe conditions and does not pose any hazard to other people, and or cause any property damage in an event of loss of control. So he have to take very decisive actions if something goes wrong. So and also it is possible for the RPICs to transfer controls, but this must be done in a way that both can remain and maintain visual line of sight, so they can see the drone with their eyes without any aid. Yeah, so this does not include FPV goggles, but always the corrective lenses is acceptable. So they must be able to see the drone without any other equipment. So now let's talk about in-flight emergencies, right? So these things can happen, and so you maybe during an emergency you can deviate. So you can deviate from the normal rules and regulations so that the mission is you take all the actions to make sure that no one is harmed. So let's say that all of a sudden, let's say that a helicopter emerges and your drone is going to crash to the helicopter. In this case, you maybe you have to decide quickly, and in that case you can climb to an altitude above 400 feet if necessary to avoid some kind of a emergency situation so that everyone is safe, right? So you can deviate from the normal regulations during an emergency. So each RPIC, or the remote pilot in command, who deviates from a rule has to write a written report to the FAA if it is requested. So let's say that to avoid an accident you had to climb to a height, but if the FAA doesn't request you for a written report, then you are okay, and it's not required that you should file a report. So if they ask for it, yes, please, you will have to write a written report explaining what happened and why you decided to deviate from the normal rule. And also hazardous operations and careless or reckless behavior is not acceptable. uh, and you must make sure that everything is safe for everybody. And also you cannot drop an object from a small unmanned aircraft system that causes some kind of a harm or hazard to person or property. So you cannot drop objects from your drone in a careless manner. It should not cause any harm, so please avoid doing these things. And also operating your drone from a vehicle, right? So operating from a vehicle is allowed, so you must have a clear line of sight, visual line of sight, and also you have to do this in a sparsely populated area, so there shouldn't be people around, and it should have a very low risk when you are doing so, and you should not be doing this for transporting something, right? So it must be done in a very careful way, operation of your drone from a vehicle. And also it's essential that you will have to maintain visual line of sight. So now we are going to talk about alcohol and drugs. So you cannot be under influence of alcohol or some kind of drug that causes you to lose your ability to safely operate the drone. So no alcohol, no drugs. And if you had alcohol, you have to wait until uh, like uh, e- you have to wait until 8 hours before you can operate the drone. And also you have to ensure that your blood alcohol level is less than 0.04. So that's important that you comply with these rules. And suppose that somebody comes to you and you decides to avoid a test, right? Avoiding a test that might lead to consequences like denial of your application for a period of 1 year, suspension, or losing your remote pilot certificate. So be careful, right? Not to fly with under the influence of drugs and alcohol. And also you cannot use your drone to transport these substances carry drugs or some kind of harmful chemicals. You are not allowed to do that by using your drone. So offenses can be they can deny your application or suspension of your remote pilot certificate, or similar penalties can be applied for acts of prohibited use, right? So now let's talk about night operation, right? So you are able to operate the drone 30 minutes before the sunrise and 30 minutes after the sunset, right? So it is 30 and 30, and this is called the twilight. So and also you are allowed to do this, but you are not allowed to fly at night unless you have a kind of a special training. So operation at night is prohibited under normal conditions, but you can get this training and have the ability to operate your drone at night time. So say that you operate the drone before 30 minutes before the sunrise or 30 minutes after the sunset, then your drone must be equipped with something called the anti-collision lights, right? So your drone should have the lights. Those are the anti-collision lights, and they must be like at least visible for 3 statute miles, right? So and also they have to blink or flash on and off at a consistent rate that can be identified from 3 miles, right? So you should be able to like have uh, you have the ability to fly 30 minutes before the sunrise or 30 minutes after the sunset if you have these anti-collision lights. And also like say that under special conditions, like let's say these lights, like you're flying like 30 minutes after the sunset, and you are going to land this drone near you, and the anti-collision light system might sometimes reduce the safety uh, under special condition, like let's say that this light is so bright that is causing difficulty for you to like see the drone properly, and in that case, that specific case, like for the interest of safety, you may decide to like reduce the brightness of the light system. That is to that is in the interest of maintaining safety. So you must be aware of the twilight. So you have to like check the reports for the weather when the sun rises and sets, and also you have to convert them to your local time zone and make sure that you are in compliance with all the rules and regulations. So you don't need any specific training to fly during the twilight. That is 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after the sunset or sunrise. So make sure that if you are flying during the twilight, you have the uh, anti-collision light system. So now let's talk about visual line of sight. So always make sure that you maintain the visual line of sight with your drones, right? You must be able to see your drone. So let's say you are standing here, and you must be able to like clearly see your drone. So if you don't see your drone, you cannot operate it under part 107. And seeing the drone means like you can have contact glasses, and you cannot use binoculars, right? So this is binoculars or telescopes, they are not allowed, right? You can have contact glasses but no binoculars or telescopes or any other kind of a device that allows you to see the drone, right, other than corrective lenses. So that's how you maintain visual line of sight. So what is mean by visual line of sight is that you should know the location of the drone, and also you should know the attitude. Attitude means the pitch or the orientation, right? Attitude of the drone. Attitude means the pitch, or the roll can be considered. So you have to like proper. You should be able to like properly determine the orientation of the drone. So you should know the location of the drone. You should know the orientation of the drone, as well as you should know the altitude. Altitude means the height above the ground level. So you should know the height altitude of the drone, right? So you should be able to know these things, and also the direction of flight is also important. So you should be able to like distinguish the direction of flight, north, east, south, and west, and this direction it may be northwest, right? So you should be able to like determine the direction of the flight as well. And also there's one more very important thing that you need to know as to maintain visual line of sight. Those are the hazards and other air traffic, right? You should know the hazards, yeah, airspace, and air traffic, right? Air traffic around you. So you should be able to know all these things to maintain visual line of sight. So that allows you to like properly handle the drone and doesn't endanger the life or the property of others, right? So be very careful regarding these things when you operate your drone. Next, we are going to talk about FPV operation. So FPV goggles under no condition is approved as a device that allows you to maintain visual line of sight. So say that you have some FPV goggles and you can see through the camera attached to your drone, and but that is not that doesn't mean that you are maintaining visual line of sight, because now you are seeing directly through a camera. So you have to see the drone with respect to your own sight, right? So you have to see with your eyes. So you cannot maintain visual line of sight using any equipment attached to you. So if you want to use do an FPV operation, so that let's say that you have this one, then you need a visual observer that maintains the line of sight for you, and he has to like communicate directly with you, telling about all the upcoming events and cues that allows you to like properly handle the situation. So the visual observer has his own duty, like maintain effective communication. So this is very important that he or she maintain effective communication, so in that way we know what's going around. And effective him if there's another person who is manipulating the controls, like visual observer should communicate to the RPIC, the remote pilot in command, as well as the person manipulating the controls. So that those are the duties of a visual observer. And also visual observer, still again he has to see the drone with his own eyes. So he can wear corrective lenses, but he should not be using some kind of a binocular or a telescope to locate the drone. So as I explained in the previous slide, location, altitude, pitch, orientation, height, and direction of flight hazards, air space, air traffic, everything he visual observer should monitor. So it is important that all the people involved in the mission should coordinate to scan airspace and identify any potential uh, things that can cause a collision or hazard or property damage. And also next we are talking about multiple drones. So uh, a single remote pilot in command cannot operate multiple drones, so it's not allowed, right? So the RPIC should only handle one drone at a time, right? Only one drone at a time. Yeah, this is even true for the visual observer. So the visual observer, if there's a visual observer, he should only maintain, like he should like only observe the drone he's flying, right? So he cannot be, I mean, he cannot be a visual observer for multiple drones, right? That's not allowed. So he should be able to like recognize the other drones in the area, but visual observer should directly communicate with the RPIC of this drone, not some other drone. So that's really important that these crew members should be only carrying operations on a single drone. There can be other drones, but we you cannot directly involve in their operation. So when operating the drone, you have to give way and stay away from all the other aircrafts, right? So you have to like stay away from all the other aircraft. Yeah, maybe there can be a helicopter, there can be a plane. So you have to stay away from everything, right? So you have to give the way for all the other aircraft and may not pass over under or head unless that is like clearly defined, like maybe like in special cases where all of you are working on the same mission, then there might be a special case where you may operate the drone, but you must always stay away from all the aircrafts and give way for the other aircrafts. Okay, next let's talk about operating the drones over human beings. So you cannot fly over human beings unless they are direct participants of the mission, such as the visual observer or one of your crew member, right? So you cannot fly over human beings under normal conditions. And also, if there are other human beings, they must be located under a covered structure or inside a stationary vehicle that can protect them. So there are some categories that we will be talking about them later, where you can operate your drone, where there are people. So let's discuss about them later. So mm, airspace is very important for us. So you have to like understand what's going around you. So there, the airspace is classified into class B. That's class A, but we are not going to worry about them because way too high for that airspace. So we are interested in class B, C, D, E, and so on. There's no F, and there's G. Okay, so we will go in details later. So to operate or fly in controlled airspace, these are controlled airspace except G, controlled airspace. So to fly in controlled airspace, you are not allowed to fly unless you have the relevant authorization from uh, the air traffic control. So if you get the permission or the authorization from air traffic controller, you can fly. But let's see how we can get the permission and other things later. So remember that you are not allowed to fly in controlled airspaces unless you have the authorization. And also there's something called NOTAMs. NOTAMs is notice to air missions, right? So notice to air missions, there's something called NOTAMs. So these are like updates that takes place, and sometimes a specific area can be uh, like temporary, used as an some kind of an airspace. So sometimes some areas can be like prohibited or restricted. So in that case, we have to check these updates. Let's see how we can like check these updates later, maybe online. We can use some other tools. So we have to be aware, really aware of these norms as well. So we are not allowed to fly in controlled airspace. So let's see what we need to have when we operate near airports. So no person, right? No person may operate small aircraft systems in a manner that interferes with the operation of the traffic and patterns at any airport. So we are not able to operate within close proximity to airports unless we have the required authorization and we know what's going around the airspace, and we are aware of everything. So airports, heliports, or seaplane bases, we are it's better to avoid operating unless we have proper authorization to operate in these areas, and we are aware of the air traffic that's going around. So we can use a radio that allows us to listen to the air traffic controller's messages, and identify the traffic around the area. So another important thing is regarding the local, what the checklist or the pre-flight checklist, right? So what do you need to do before you start your operation? So you must be familiarized with inspection and the actions for your aircraft operation. So you have to check the local weather conditions, airspace, and also flight restrictions, location of people around you, property around you. So there's a lot of things that we need to consider on property, and also ground hazards, what's on your way. You have to be aware of everything around you, and so that you can operate the drone safely. So in the oncoming videos we will go to the details regarding these things. So I hope that you got some very good information, and always this is based on my understanding. So please double check these facts, and hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much for joining with this video.